DigiMarCon. I am about to speak with Ryan. I've already had a couple of amazing conversations with him, and I'm so excited for you guys to get to hear what he has to say about SEO, organic search, and things you might not be thinking about that are very important. So before I jump into that, my name is Leah. I'm founder of 15,000 Qubits, and we are in New York City and having a great time here at DigiMarCon. So Ryan, can you give me a little background on yourself, on your company, and then let's go into the awesome conversation we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so I am a starving artist writer who, after I graduated from college, realized that I really wanted to write and actually make money writing, but that, the publishing industry at the time and to this day was kind of imploding. And it was very difficult to make a career as a creative writer. So I started learning about how other creatives were making a living online. We're talking 2010, a while ago. And discovered content marketing, discovered SEO, and learned that the specific approach that I learned to writing in school, which is the workshop model. You're used to working with other people, letting them into your process. You have to grow thick skin. You have to learn to kill your darlings and not hold too close to the
right.
That made for a really good content marketer.
Absolutely.
So I built a whole agency called Metonymy Media around hiring people with that creative writing background. And for about 10 years, growing the business, had a lot of success. And then eventually I found Demand Jump, which had previously been a data analytics and attribution company. But they had just, it was 2020, last meeting I ever had before the world shut down, basically. They had just launched a new product designed to help you analyze search behavior in a completely different way than how other SEO tools out there present keywords and present recommendations and topics and things like that, and realized that it was just brilliant. So I glommed right on, started using the software. Over the course of 12 to 18 months, we started just working more closely together, experimenting, defining what really eventually became a brand new methodology for organic content marketing we call pillar-based marketing. And that ended with them purchasing my agency and me joining full time. And so now
that's the dream.
Yeah, it's, I mean, especially for a marketing, especially for an agency of writers,
right?
To have an acquisition. I got to call my mom and be like, I didn't fail at capitalism. That's amazing. Even though I just set out to write.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom. She'll probably see this at some point. So they bought us, and then I've spent the last year and a half doing what we're doing here, going to conferences, speaking, and then just a month ago published that book, Pillar-Based Marketing, that sort of teaches this methodology to the world.
Great. And so is that book available yet, or is it?
Oh, yeah. Major bestseller. Tons of it's been really surprisingly popular. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it I think really a lot of places online, but Pillar-Based Marketing, a data-driven methodology for SEO and content that actually works. And we've been selling them here at the conference, and people have just been picking them up like crazy.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's fun.
Have you done it on audio yet?
Not yet, because publishers want to hire somebody, but then everyone that I know is you should do it because your voice is weird.
I would listen to that whole book just to hear it because your passion comes out.
Yes, thank you.
In the topic. Yeah, and I think that changes everything in search marketing and SEO and organic. When somebody is passionate about it, it's a topic that a lot of people have a hard time connecting to.
Yeah, and it's hard to understand and even quantify. That's the problem with organic content marketing is everybody knows you have to do it. But I think everyone who's in leadership, which my co-author, who was the man who bought my business and founded Demand Jump originally, people like him would say content's a waste of money because I can't trace from you wrote a blog post to I got a sale. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that just to this point in time, even though marketers feel like they're making data-driven decisions, using SEO research tools, picking the terms with the good search volume and the low competition and finding that right balance, it's still just random guessing. And there's so much room for bias in that. If I just had a conversation with a salesperson 100%. Who told me that their customer they talked to really cared about this, and then I see that concept in the keyword list, maybe I'm going to choose to write content about that. But that's not the right way to think about it, and it leads to people writing. I think there's a statistic It's 90.63% of web pages get zero traffic ever. And like that kind of tracked with me. I don't know like how much you guys get into that yourself, but like with organic content marketing specifically, we would write for every 10 articles we wrote, one page would end up ranking high enough to start driving real traffic. And like I had a full, beautiful head of blonde hair when I started my agency. And over the years, trying to convince people to invest in me, to take 6 months or more to see what content's going to rank, to not be mad when like we would get like a 20% ranking when like that's amazing, but they'd be like, I paid you for 80% of crap that you're not, it's not even doing anything for me. That's a tough proposition. And
it is, because there's a significant cost to content.
There is
a significant cost, especially if you're talking about good optimized content, because it's not just writing the content. You have the researching the keywords, understanding that strategy, making those choices, and figuring all of that out, and then the distribution side of it. There's a big cost to content.
It's a lot, and yet 43% of all marketers don't even measure the ROI of content. So I don't remember where that stat comes from, but I just put it in a presentation yesterday, so I know it's accurate. And it's like, how can any company, especially one going into a recession, especially if your company is trying to grow efficiently and not lose people, how can you justify that expense? It's just, it's not justifiable in my opinion. So when I discovered what we now call pillar-based marketing and began really implementing it, I realized that like so much of what I cared about with SEO, you know, keyword cannibalization, keyword density, and search volume, intent, big one, right? Like you think you're doing the right things, you think you're making the right choices. Backlinking, these are all things that like defined my world for SEO. Fast forward to today, when I build a new pillar content plan, following our methodology, using the demand jump technology, and then the way that we analyze data, I could take any brand, any domain authority, because I think domain authority is completely worthless and dead. It doesn't matter who their competition are or how good they are. Write 16 pieces of content that's aligned perfectly to your customer. That's enough to create a network effect. And if you use the data the way that we use our data, which comes from Google's recommendation engine, not from a keyword database, we're actually looking at, like, if you start with a topic like podcast production, what are the related searches? Like, what are the people also ask questions? What are the related terms? If you then collect those and search for those and find out what are the recommendations on those, you do that a few times, you've got so much data to work with that basically represents the total addressable market for organic content around whatever topic you want to rank for. And so
that's powerful. It's
powerful. And then like you can like use an algorithm like we have to analyze that data and find across all the different ways someone might choose to search for information about a topic, because no two people are going to search for it the same. The funnel is also dead when it comes to organic content, I believe, because you can't force people into that mold. But what you can
people
find,
don't move in a linear state anymore.
Nobody does.
It just like the way that the search bar works on Google, right? You put in your term, and then it tells you all the other variations of things and other variable topics that they search for. They don't just search for one thing in a linear path. They're searching for things about it and around the topic, right? And that's the pillar concept you're talking about.
Exactly. And like their language varies. And a lot of people use language in a lot of different ways. But we can rely on Google to have like a critical mass of activity to observe. So like they know when they're making a recommendation, it's based on something real. It's based on statistical analysis, a lot of data. And when we look at all those thousands of terms you drum up this way, you can start seeing that there are certain terms that across 2, 3, 4 different journeys that might involve completely different starting and ending points, those terms show up. And that means that there's connectivity. And so we can start actually zeroing in on keywords and questions that appear more likely than not across several different buying journeys that you could never in a million years predict.
And you use machine learning to do that.
Yes.
That's
and
amazing.
So what that results in is actually you could write about anything. There's thousands of terms, but write these pieces. Write just these pieces of content, and we're even going to tell you how to zoom in on each article, which specific questions to answer within those articles, how to link it together so that what you end up with on your website is not individual articles that are trying to compete for rankings, but an entire network of content that is reflective of Google's own understanding of how the internet in general searches for information, which means when Google sees your network, they say, oh, you're an actual authority. You actually care about providing information, not just selling something. And so all of those pieces end up ranking a lot faster and a lot higher than they would on their own. So it's truly a different methodology. And it's like you couldn't take the basic rules of our methodology and like use a different SEO keyword research tool to like fill it in, because you're missing that connectivity element. And so when you do it right, it just, I mean, like tomorrow I'm doing a case study here at this conference where I'm going to speak and talk about the last time we did a pillar for ourselves. It was on SaaS content. We really care about, we love working with tech companies. So SaaS content was a good one for us. We were ranking for 0 of the terms within the topic network that we analyzed. We wrote 28 pieces of content. And in 6 weeks, we were ranking on page 1 for 497 terms.
Wow. And you said when you did that, so typical methodology and way of doing that is you drip out content over time, right? And you said that you put all of that content out at the same time so that those pillars were complete, and Google was crawling it so that it had a whole pillar of content that it could grab, right? That's a very different approach than I think is standard among doing SEO currently.
Yeah, we don't really, we do try to keep like current on a regular basis, but we don't really have a strong function with, or a focus for us or our customers on like, get that weekly blog post out or get those. Like, it's better to wait 2 or 3 months if that's how long it takes you to develop, a critical mass of content. Sit on it, make sure it's all ready to go, make sure, buy the book. It's going to teach you how to link this stuff together, publish it, and then there's some velocity.
Literally sit on it? You write it, print it out, and sit
I like
on
to let my laptop get nice and warm, and then
just making sure that everyone knows how to execute on the instructions.
Yeah, thank you. I love the literalness. Yeah. No, I mean, you just wait, and then you publish it, and like, there's a velocity that happens when you can drop an entire network. And I think in the case of the one that I'm talking about, it was 28 pieces, but we actually split it up. Like at first we published 14, which was like the core of the network, the most important part, the center of the spider web, if you will. And then we did another 14, I want to say just like 3 weeks later. So in the 6 week time span, it was actually 14. And then 3 weeks later, another 14. And then just 3 weeks after that, maybe 2 weeks after that, we're looking at hundreds of page 1 rankings. So these are rankings that are actually, this is new pages of content that are driving actual traffic. We did the math, and like that content pillar alone, annualized, if we wanted to pay for the traffic that's driving us, it'd be like over $130,000.
And about how much content was in each blog?
So in a strategy like that, you're going to have one pillar page that's about 3,000 words long. So it's a big one, but it also is going to be your most like
your
sort
evergreen, strong.
It's shallow. It's like, this is your broadest synopsis of the topic. Then you're going to have some sub pillar pages. In that case, I want to say there were probably like 5 or 6 sub pillars about 2,000 words long. That it's like, if SaaS content is the main pillar, a sub pillar topic would be like SaaS content courses or B2B SaaS marketing.
SaaS content customer success.
Right. Like, so like a little bit longer tail, still kind of general, but like those get a little bit more specific. And then the majority of those pieces would end up being blogs of just like your standard 750 word or so blog. And each one is going to answer a specific question and then like maybe a few follow-on questions.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it's not a small amount of content, but actually in order to create this network effect, all it takes is 16 pieces we found. So anyone can get started and write 16 pieces of content and publish it like this, and it's going to start driving results you've never seen.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for dropping all those nuggets and all of that information. Did you guys hear too? He hearts tech companies. So
I do.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what would you want them to know, and how should they do it?
First of all, just look me up on LinkedIn. I've got a column, a newsletter that I publish every week on pillar-based marketing. It's called the Pillar Column because I'm a moron, and just the first thing that popped into my head is what I went with for the title.
You're an SEO person. You're a content person.
There you go, Pillar Column. And look for the book, Pillar-Based Marketing, a data-driven methodology for SEO and content that actually works. And then check out demandjump.com, and we can help you automate all of that work and get it done in about 10 minutes. So
it's great. Fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me.
Yeah, this is great.
All right.